That's right. Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show. Thanks, Chris Brogan. Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show. And we are going to get going in 1 second. You got to love when technical difficulties happen. Let me just log into something real quick and we will get going here in 1 second. In the chat pane, let me know where in the world are you actually tuning in from, because I would be super curious. It could be the state or country. It could actually be the location, meaning YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or any of the above. In the chat pane, let me know where you're tuning in from. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much, much more each and every week. If you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, well, grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you another episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. That's right. Tons of fun with all of these shows. This week's topic is all about how you, B2B marketers, can navigate a world minus those yummy cookies that we've loved for so long. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast, found on your favorite podcast app. Now, our guest clips today are brought to you by none other than Jodi Daniels. That's right. Jodi Daniels is the founder and CEO of Red Clover Advisors, a privacy consultancy bringing data privacy strategy and compliance together with a flexible and scalable approach. Red Clover simplified data privacy complexity, refines updates, and builds privacy structures, and makes the business and legal issues accessible and actionable for all. Jodi is a certified informational privacy professional who serves as the outsourced privacy officer for companies. Now, remember, these clips of Jodi Daniels today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Jodi Daniels and myself, make sure to tune in to the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link in the full show will be in the description below after this live show ends. Now, again, I'm talking with Jodi about how marketers, you B2B marketers, can navigate a world minus cookies. In this first clip that we're going to watch with Jodi, I wanted to get her to dive deeper into what we mean by a world minus cookies, first party, second party, third party, all sorts of cookies, not, however, macadamia nut or chocolate chip or peanut butter. But I wanted to get her thoughts on cookies and what the future looks like and why. And ladies and gentlemen, here is what she had to share.
Well, let's define the cookie. There's a little piece of code that drops on a computer when you go to website ABC, and then there's a couple hundred, a couple thousand, depending on the size of the company, that might kind of keep getting dropped as you continue on that website or a bunch of other websites. And what that means is if I go to the shoe website and I don't buy my shoes, I can now go browse the web, go to my favorite social media platform, and they can serve me up an ad that tries to encourage me to buy those shoes. And then there are also some other cookies along the way to analyze how effective was the ad. Maybe in the car space, I was looking at a blue car. You really want to sell me a silver car, or you really want to make sure I don't get a silver car. You really want me to have a blue car. You want to make sure I don't see 5 ads all the time. There's a variety of different kinds of cookies. Not all cookies are created equal, and not all cookies are bad. But the general essence of a cookie is some little tracking piece. Now, if I use this analogy, it often helps people understand the tracking piece a little bit more, and as we start to build for trust. We talked about this little digital cookie trail that is created when you're online. Well, imagine you're outside and you're going for a walk. Someone is behind you with a little notepad, and they note what you're wearing, and they note how far it is from your house to the Starbucks. They note what you're getting at the Starbucks. They note what kind of car you drove. They then know everything else that you're doing. Oh, you're going to go to this office. You're going to order this for lunch, go to this yoga gym, play these music stations, come home, open your fridge, have your smart TV, watch your shows, and we can kind of keep going. If after the first 30 seconds you notice this person behind you with your little notebook, you probably would stop and say, what on earth are you doing? I don't want that tracking anymore. But in my example, I followed you the entire day. That is what is happening in the land of cookies. We are following the trail all the time to be able to capture that data to build profiles. I'm a mom in Atlanta. Someone else is a younger demographic in Atlanta. Someone else likes sports. Someone else likes luxury cars. All different kinds of profiles are getting created left and right. Well, in a land minus cookies, I'm not going to be able to build those profiles reliant on somebody else to do that in the same way. In some places, I have to opt in for the tracking and the cookie. A few people might do that. A significant majority might not do that because they don't like the idea of the tracking. They don't want the person behind them writing everything down, even if it's this invisible little piece of code doing it on a website, which is what I used to do. We're not going to talk about how long ago because that's going to make me older, but it was before social media was doing it because they wanted our data and I said no. But in all seriousness, what we mean is we're not going to have that ability to track with a little piece of code unless the person opts in to do so. I'm not going to be able to have the same kind of easy mechanisms. I'm going to need to rely on other tools and methodologies to be able to get us there.
So I have to ask, has your company been the creepy guy or gal following and tracking folks around the interwebs? Are you prepared for a future without cookies? Are you building trust or focused on building trust in the future for your organization? And are you putting a plan in place? Put the answer to that in the chat pane and let me know on X using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB.Thomas. Now we'll get back to Jodi Daniels and her thoughts on how marketers can navigate a world minus cookies. But first I have to ask, are you part of the Marketing Profs community yet? If not, become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. You won't regret the additional learning you're adding to your life. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips that we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. This week, the title is CMOs Say the End of Third-Party Cookies is Both a Major Challenge and a Good Thing by Konstantin von Hoffman. Listen, the majority of CMOs say losing third-party cookies poses a major challenge, but will be a positive development. According to a new survey, some 70% of CMOs say it will be difficult to handle the impending cookie apocalypse, according to Relay 42's report, Rethinking Digital Marketing in a Post-Cookie Era. However, 61% also say it will wind up being a good thing for business. Why we care? If Google sticks to its schedule, it will end Chrome's ability to use third-party cookies. And this means inventing whole new ways to do digital marketing. Time is running out and the stakes couldn't be higher. To read this article, check out the link below when the live show is over. That's right, all the right links in all the right places at just the right time. So let's return to Jodi Daniels and her Marketing Smarts podcast episode. In this next clip, I wanted to know what B2B potholes or hurdles you as a B2B marketer might face. So I asked Jodi that exact question. When it comes to a world without cookies, what are the potholes and hurdles we may face along the way? And here are her thoughts.
That is a very unique question as well. You have lots of really great, unique questions, George. I think in terms of potholes, it's kind of thinking that any of the cool technologies that are being sold to you are going to solve all of it. Take your CMP flavor of the month or, a CRM that's on steroids or the idea of a clean room One of the other ideas that I wanted to bring up was a clean room, because we talked a lot about first party data and some of the other ways that companies can navigate in a cookieless era is going to be clean room. The technologies are only going to work as well as the data is here. And if you have really good solid data that you can put into a clean room or that you can use in a CDP, then those tools will be really beneficial. If you're kind of hoping it's going to be magic with the little fairy wands, then it's not going to be. And I think people who don't do the homework, don't really understand the technology as well and what it can do for them, or don't understand how it can work and there's a privacy impact that they didn't appreciate. For example, in a clean room, you want to, make sure the data that you're sharing is in line with your own privacy notice and is in line with your own contracts that you have. Or you could create a big privacy snafu and then you get to the legal team and they tell you, no, you can't do this. So you want to avoid those kinds of things and build them all up front. So those would be, I think, some of the big pitfalls that I see B2B people have.
Do you look at your tech stack as a silver bullet? That might be a pothole for you and your organization moving forward. Do you have or even know what a clean room is until this episode? Quick question. Do you have a privacy notice? Do those connect or tie into your contract seamlessly? Just a few things to think about as we move into a world minus cookies. Now, we'll get back to Jodi Daniels in a few minutes, but first it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right, it's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article number 1 this week is How Creative Digital Experiences Will Save Us When Third-Party Cookies Crumble by Jamie Geer. The approaching end of third-party cookies is top of mind for marketers, many of whom are wondering how they can pivot towards getting more first-party data. How brands will make the most of that first-party data will redefine online marketing. The efforts begin with gaining not only the attention of customers, but also their trust, their belief that your brand's content, products, and experience are worth a piece of their privacy. Without the tracking cookies and targeted advertising that have become so common across the internet over the years, marketers will be exploring alternative strategies for collecting data and connecting with their customers. One strategy will stand out: the creation of compelling digital experiences that encourage audiences to willingly share their data in return for the ability to engage with that said content. Article number 2 this week is Chin Up Marketers, The Demise of Third-Party Cookies Isn't All Bad by Wilson Raj. A huge chunk of the ads you see online are driven by third-party cookies, which are part of a somewhat questionable ad tech infrastructure that tracks and trades on website visitors and identity data. So when Google announced its January that it will phase out Chrome's third-party cookie support in 2 years, there was angst among marketers. Were you one of them? I'm just curious. You don't have to tell me. Don't put it in there. But I know I had a little bit of angst. Who were concerned they'll no longer be able to track audiences and show relevant messages to them as they traverse the web. But despite all the handwriting for marketers, there are long-term upsides and benefits to the demise of cookies. Want to keep learning more? If so, check the links in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing MarketingProfs articles. All right, back to Jodi Daniels. Let's dive back into this conversation on how marketers, you, can navigate a world minus cookies. In this clip, I wanted to ask Jodi what success looks like, meaning that when we shift and start living in a world without cookies, how do we know if we're knocking it out of the park or falling short? Her answer is very helpful. Take a look.
We've been talking about segments for years. The idea of segmenting your audience, account-based marketing, those are not new terms. Success, though, is where you get it right. And it goes back to the data. If we kind of start with how we got here, in a cookie universe, we didn't have to necessarily, you could rely on your own data, but you also didn't necessarily have to. And there are some other new kind of cookie tools coming out. They're server to server that will allow you to do things more on your side. So we'll still allow for some of that targeting. But if I go with the idea of segmentation, the more data you have, the better your own CRM will be, the better you can leverage a CDP, the better you can use a clean room, the better you can use any of the new tools and technology that will be here. And then that's where you get that conversion again. The companies that I see that are successful have a clean, no pun intended, but have a clean data set. In other words, it's not messy with, well, I have data in this database and I have data over in that database, but they don't actually sync to each other. I've seen situations where they have preference centers. Jodi wants option A and B, but it didn't sync properly to the other tools and systems. Well, then that's not really clean data, because when you as a marketer are relying on either of those systems, the data didn't go back and forth the way it was supposed to. So success actually kind of starts with a clean data environment. And I don't mean to say like clean data warehouse, but just getting all your data in order is honestly one of the first places. Then you can put on top of it all of the other cool tools, and then you can leverage all of the segments doing so properly.
Are you segmenting your audience? Is your segmentation right or correct? Are you using a CDP? Have you been looking into a set of new tools for this new world that we're heading into? Is your data giving you what you need? Heck, is your data clean and up to date? Whew, lots of questions, but we'll get some words of wisdom from Jodi Daniels here in a few minutes. But right now, it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time for From the hashtag MPB2B community. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MPB2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag. And second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's Kelly Hungerford, or KD Hungerford on X. Can you find joy in B2B marketing and find joy in what you do? I think that's a very important emotion and experience when you do your job. By the way, that is a quote from @Pam Didner, hashtag B2B marketing, hashtag MPB2B. But you need to check out the description and click that link to check out the post and read and learn more. Make sure you do that. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be next to get the spotlight? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your podcast as well, or in your post, because you're probably not doing a podcast. It won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and on X. Okay. Words of wisdom. Let's kick it back to Jodi Daniels and some words of wisdom around this topic of you, B2B marketers, navigating the new world minus cookies. Here's what Jodi wanted to leave us with as far as words of wisdom.
I think as we embark, today we're talking about cookieless, and there's new tools that'll come out, and then those tools will continue to change. We have AI that's going to continue to change the universe. What I would offer is to understand your customer and put the customer first, and include other people, and really realize that the journey that you're on is to help explain to your customers why they should be buying XYZ. Think about that relationship, and don't forget that it really is all about trust and the end goal of building a lifelong relationship with that customer or company, and to really to ask for help.
And to ask for help. But new tools, AI, and understanding your customer. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is changing, folks. Are you focused on the relationship and building trust? Do you put your customers first, and do you understand them? Are you taking time to educate them on why they should purchase from you, why they should trust in you? Hey, have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use that hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you're joining us on. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Time flies when you're having fun. Head to the description below. Click on the link to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Jodi Daniels and keep on learning more about how marketers can navigate a world minus cookies. Remember, these were just a few clips from the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. If you got value from today's show, please hit that like. Better yet, share it with a friend or coworker. To keep learning more, hit subscribe or watch additional MarketingProfs videos on your favorite social channel, or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts Live show next week.